But attending this show on a daily basis with the Daily Take is the great Geraldo Rivera, who joins us right now.
I'm here.
That's what showing up is a big part of it, right, Geraldo? That's it. You got to be there. We know you'll be here. All right, so let's start with Venezuela. So Putin calls up Maduro, says, I got your back. How does that work into things, and does it change anything, or we knew this already?
That sounds like some kind of bar joke. Putin walks into a room and he expresses support. Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
What else you got? Leprosy.
There was a priest and a horse involved, I think, as well. But you know, it is what it is. That's what we're dealing with. So, but it's the same question. It's a different way of asking the same question. Are we going to war, or is Putin or Iran gonna get involved? You know, it is kind of a mess in the making potentially.
I think there'll be more violence. I think that war is the ultimate destination for that kind of violence. Hopefully, it won't come to that. I would hate to see our military engaged against the Venezuelan military, because I think that potentially the Venezuelan military would be on our side as long as we treat them with respect and even affection. There's a lot of Venezuelan people, very successful people here in the United States. They're two nations that have not historically been antagonistic. But I do think that there's a ways to go in terms of the escalatory ladder before we get to that kind of rapprochement. You have, you know, the land strikes. The president says we're getting closer and closer to that. The seizure of the oil tankers, sanctioned oil on board, deemed legal by most analysts. You have a situation where Maduro is digging in. He's looking over his shoulder. The Nobel laureate, the opposition leader, has accepted the Nobel Peace Prize in Oslo. So there's more pressure. There is a credible alternative to the dictator Maduro.
Right.
It is the Nobel laureate. You know, and I think that, so if I were Maduro, I would definitely see the walls closing in, put it that way.
Well, maybe get a place over in Russia, like, you know, pulling Assad, like gotten out of Syria. So if Putin's his friend, maybe give him a place to stay, and that's how it all ends. Maduro takes off.
Except they better be out of the range of those Ukrainian drones that will hit the Black Sea resort where Maduro would hole up. So he better watch himself, look over his shoulder.
That's not a bad twist on the whole thing as well. By the way, there's talks. We're going to talk about this more in a moment.
Good movie.
The whole thing. Doesn't it sound like that sometimes, this crazy world we live in? So the talks in Paris over this weekend about Ukraine, I don't know that much comes out of that.
Well, you know, it's kind of pathetic to see Europe scrambling for, you know, recognition. How about us, teacher? How about us? How about mighty England? How about France? How about Germany? You know, don't we count? The answer is there's the EU and NATO and Europe have to, you know, look at the future as if the United States was not, you know, standing shoulder to shoulder with Europe. I don't like that. I oppose that. I believe that Trump should embrace NATO, which was a creation, after all, of the United States. It has served as a bellwether. It has kept Russia at bay up until the invasion of Ukraine. Yeah. But I do believe that you have a situation where the United States, you know, is to me at least very disappointingly not zestfully or robustly embracing Ukraine and saying, "Come on, let's kick their butts." You know,
yeah,
none of that going on, and
that's not going to happen.
I wonder why. It bothers me that that lack of support for the good guy in this largest war, land war in Europe since World War II. Is very disconcerting.
Yeah, that's not going to come from Trump on this. What else today? Did you see, and you know, it's interesting, these photos came out. There was a lot they were all over the internet this morning, people were talking about from the Epstein files. To me, it's like you can't make too much of them yet, at least as far as I see, because you don't want to jump to conclusions. Like Trump was in them, Bill Clinton was in them, Bill Gates is mentioned, Steve Bannon, there's Trump. In some of the other pictures that, like this one, their faces blurred out. But it's just like, here's another one, bunch of women, obviously, with the now president. You can't you can't tell who those women are. Like, you can't, I don't think you can assume they're victims, and we don't have context, is my point. But what would you say about them all?
No, I think that is the problem. There is no, you know, smoking gun. There is, you know, definitive conclusion that see these two perverts, wonder where they were. Where did this airplane go with the richest man on earth? You know, you can speculate till you're blue in the face. The fact of the matter is, when the sources were telling us there is no Epstein file, that these are files that were gathered over various legal actions taken, criminal and civil. You know, I don't know very public people. Obviously, Donald Trump, one of the most public bon vivant, long before, you know, playboy, man on the street, man on the go. Bill Clinton, notorious. But that, you know, you can't condemn them for taking pictures with constituents, or even Epstein. The fact that, you know, it's Woody Allen and all these others, and you wonder, you try and, you know, think, well, what did he do? What did this one do? All I can say is, and Erica, my wife, and I laughed about it, because, you know, I was on the scene in New York for more than half a century. Thank God I never met this guy. All I can say is, thank God I never met him. I take pictures with everybody. Thank God I never took a picture. I don't know the guy. I never heard of the guy until this happened. I'm so happy to say that.
That's the saving grace, right? And all this kind of, there's no Geraldo.
Saving grace.
Kind of
saving grace for the party I didn't get invited to. Yeah.
Because you were on the scene. That's a good way of putting it. You're still on the scene in many ways, but you were definitely on the, quote-unquote, on the scene back then. All right, buddy. Thank you. The great Geraldo Rivera. That's the way we'll end it for the week.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.